The WCA home has private rooms for seniors who need assisted living. We are a nonprofit home founded 125 years ago for women, now seeking approval for men. Our mission has always been top-notch assisted living. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey, Frosty, good morning to you this Saturday, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels. Got a very interesting show in store for you, as always, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Want to say good afternoon to all my listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people in Jamestown, Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. So glad you could join me. Also, I want to always remind you that as this show progresses, you always can call in if you have a question for myself or my guest. You have an announcement, give us a call at 753-5225, or you can contact us at the various things that are popping up here, the Twitter, our Facebook account, our email account, and so on. Glad to have you. Also, remember, the show is on YouTube forever and ever and ever and ever. It's posted on our Facebook page as well. I put the links there so you can always come back and check it out. And just tell your friends that we're still here and we're on channel 1301. I kind of remind people of that because the spectrum moved us from 5 to 1301, just like right next door. You know, it's like, what? How did you go from 5 to 1301? I haven't figured that one out yet. Well, anyways. So I hope you're all having a great weekend, and a lot of stuff going around in the county these days with festivals and things like that. And I want to give a shout out right now. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in a minute, but the 33rd annual Ice Festival right here in good old Mayville, New York is in progress as we speak. And I wanted to share a little story with you. Years ago, we had an exchange student that lived with us, who's now my daughter, as far as I'm concerned, Julie Kaspari. And I think it was 2001, something like that. And I said to Julie, hey, you want to do something interesting today? It was a Saturday. I said, you want to go to the ice festival? And there's an ice castle and all this cool stuff. And she goes, yeah, that sounds like fun. So the two of us got ready. And I said, it's cold out there, Julie. Oh, I'm used to the cold. You know, I'm from Germany. And I go, this is pretty cold out there. And she's got this little jacket and her hat and her mittens and these real lightweight leather boots. And I said, those boots are pretty thin. Oh, my mother bought these for me, and they keep my feet very warm. And she's assuring me she's going to be fine. Well, Julie was about as big as my pen here. She was just thin and tiny boned and real petite. So I said, okay. So I threw a couple extra things in the car anyways. We went to the ice festival, and she had a great time and all that sort of thing. But when we got home, she was blue. And we still laugh about it because we do see each other every couple of years when we visit or they come over this way. But that always stands out in my mind. I want to give a shout out to all my good friends over at the Erie to Chautauqua County BOCES at the Youth Center. Jeff Angeletti and company, you guys did the job again this year. I see your picture in the paper, cutting the ice and getting it positioned for the castle. Looks spectacular. Some pretty pictures of the castle in today's Post-Journal as well. So I'll tell you more about the activities, but this is Ice Festival weekend, so get out there. It's going to be nice weather. The sun's supposed to break a little bit and have some good fun. Want to also let you know that later today I'll be playing over at the Ripley Library from 6 to 9. It's called Love Your Library Month, I believe, and they're doing a little social, $10 to get in. I believe there's going to be some wine and hors d'oeuvres. Going to be providing some music, and they're going to unveil some renderings of what the new renovations are going to be for the library. Very, very cool stuff going on there. So that's going to be today from 6 to 9, just to let you know. Then we prepared a slide here for you. Ride for Roswell is June 22nd, and although it's a ways away, we want to remind you that the Chautauqua Sunrisers, our team, let's get that picture. Look at those guys. How can you not like those guys? It was Randy, Burt, Jeff Zook, and myself. We are the Chautauqua Sunriser team, and we're raising funds for the Ride for Roswell. And if you are interested at all in donating, we'd love for you to drop in on the Ride for Roswell site, and it'll say Donate to Rider, I think it is, and you click on that, and you look for our names, and you can pop in whatever you like, and we will appreciate it. And there's no competition among us. Whatever we raise is a team effort, and glad to do so. And generally, we raise anywhere between $6,000 and $1,000, $1,500 maybe. So we'd like to either match that this year or go over the top. And so there we are, and we're going to get in our bikes out here pretty soon once the weather breaks. So Chautauqua Sunrisers, Ride for Roswell, coming up soon. Okay, I got a few announcements, and as always, please send them in. We appreciate the fact that you do, and this is for all of us here in Chautauqua County. I mean, there are very few opportunities for us to share information and hear from each other in this county live once a week anyways. A lot of the other media, you can hear stuff that's happening, but if you don't listen to that particular station or read that particular paper, you can miss stuff. But we're here live, and we're going to share this. And as you know, we are on at 2 and 8 every day throughout the week as well. So let's go to our good friends down in Jamestown at Infinity. They want you to know about their day camp. The Infinity Center will host a 4-day Spring in the Music and Arts day camp from Tuesday, February 19th to February 22nd. Students will experience a variety of art, music, and theater activities. Make cool art, script and film a movie, and join a band. I highly recommend that. And explore instruments, all in 4 fun-filled days, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. Students ages 6 to 12 are welcome. For information, give them a call 664-0991, or you can register online at, this is all one word, infinityperformingarts.org. I suspect this is the same time frame, Emerald, that must be spring break, must be, or winter recess coming up right next week. School closed? For some schools, maybe? Some schools. All right. Well, anyways, February 19th to the 22nd. Okay, there's an announcement from Westfield Memorial Hospital. We announced it last week, but I want to announce it again, and then we'll just let it go from here. We have a slide on this. The Westfield Memorial Hospital and Allegheny Health Network are pleased to announce the availability, I gotta say this slowly, lymphedema services in the physical therapy department at Westfield Memorial Hospital. Lymphedema is the swelling of a body part and is most often found in the extremities. The seriousness of lymphedema and the problems it creates are often misunderstood by the medical community. Primary lymphedema can be present at birth or develop later in life. Secondary lymphedema is much more common. It can be the result of surgery or radiation therapy for cancer, which includes damaging and or removal of lymph nodes. Secondary lymphedema can form after injury, trauma, or infection to the lymphatic system. I sound very medical this morning. Mild temporary edema can be caused by many factors, but lasting edema may be the sign of a more serious underlying medical condition. Okay, so what's the deal here? This is Brenda Burdick you're looking at right now, and she's specially trained to work with folks that have lymphedema. And if you are interested to know more about this, or if you're a patient that needs these services, give them a call at the Westfield Memorial Hospital at 793-2231 between 7:30 and 3 o'clock Monday through Friday. Okay? And in addition to the lymphedema program, they also want you to know the hospital has all kinds of services there, and mammograms and lab work, diabetes education, and so forth. Good place to visit if you are in need of medical services. Okay, now let's get back to the Winter Festival, 33rd Annual. The Mayville Chautauqua Chamber of Commerce proudly presents this area's premier Winter Festival. This year runs it started last night with opening ceremonies and is going to run through Sunday. On Saturday, today, they're going to have a fun-filled day that closes with fireworks later today, it looks like. It's tonight, yeah. The festival continues through Sunday afternoon. All kinds of events are scheduled, including games, contests, vendors, food, horse-drawn carriage rides, scavenger hunts, and a whole lot more. Despite the cold snap of a couple of weeks ago, not a problem. The recent warm-up has caused some problems for the Ice Castle crew, but the festival runs anyways. And as I already mentioned, the Ice Castle is built, it's there, it's all lit up at night, and it looks great. So if you have something you want to do today, get out of the house, get rid of that cabin fever, and check out the Winter Festival right here in Mayville down at the park. Moving along, Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame induction banquet. Chip Johnson, chairman of the 38th Annual Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame, wants you to know that it's going to take their banquet's going to take place on February 18th. That's coming up this week. Tickets can be bought at the Jamestown Cycle Shop in Jamestown, Matt's News in Dunkirk on 3rd, Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame over on West 3rd in Jamestown. Tickets are $50, and if you're a member of the Hall of Fame, you can get a $5 discount. And we've already talked about all the inductees right here on the show. It's going to be at the Lakewood Rod and Gun Club. And it's going to start at 5 p.m. and dinner to follow at 6. This is a great opportunity to honor the folks that are in sports that have excelled in their field, coaches, referees. They're also going to be honoring a lot of the high school students and so forth that have done real well this year. So great opportunity. If you're a sports enthusiast, check it out. All right, let's see. The Fredonia Community Chamber of Commerce and Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce invite all local businesses to attend Business After Hours at EBC West. And that's going to be Thursday, February 21. Bring your friends and colleagues to this networking event. It's $13 for chamber members, $15 for non-members. If you just want to join them, it's going to be EBC West, 34 West Main Street in Fredonia. Check it out. For more information, give them a call at the chamber at 366-6200. Okay, going back to Jamestown, Rolling Hills Radio. They're going to bring one of the greatest Americana singers of Jamestown. They wrote this. I don't know who is the next greatest, but this is the greatest, according to this. On Monday, February 25th at Shawbox in downtown Jamestown, New York, Rolling Hills Radio will present a celebrated Americana figure, Molly O'Brien. Good Irish name. She will be joined with the extraordinary guitarist in his genre, Rich Moore. Also on the billing is the instrumental prodigy, Aaron Lipp. All right, and this is going to take place, hang on, I got to find the dates. They always kind of bury it at the very end here. I don't know. Oh, February 25, I already said that. All right, so that's coming up here. So Molly O'Brien and Rich Moore is a husband and wife team. They worked together for nearly 30 years. They quietly made it their mission to find, mine, and reinvent other artists' songs. I kind of do that. They are geniuses at their craft of interpretation in the way that great singers have done and since the beginning of popular American music. They've made the songs of their era their own. As songwriters, they add their own tunes to the canon of American roots music they inhabit and show us they completely are at home with their musical selves, and so on. Molly was a regular on the Prairie Home Companion, as well as NPR's Mountain Stage. And she's the sister of famed bluegrass player Tim O'Brien. Molly is often referred to as the singer's singer. So it sounds like a lot of fun. Let's talk about Aaron Lipp for a second. He's a young player from the Finger Lakes region of New York State. Even at a young age, Aaron is a veteran of the Great Blue Heron Festival and a whole lot more. Ken Harley says the following: I met Aaron backstage late one night at the Blue Heron just prior to his performance. As we talked, I was impressed with what an engaging fellow he was. He was impressive and respectful of the history and importance of this music genre. I left the conversation with a good feeling about the future of Americana. Then I heard him play. This guy is an incredible musician. Okay, so they're in their 9th season. Tickets are $15. Not a whole lot of money for a great night of music. It's going to be at Shawbucks. They open up at 5:30. They close the bar at 6:15. The show starts at 6:30. They have a little 10-minute intermission. And again, if you're interested, you can meet the artist afterwards at their meet and greet. So Shawbucks, February 25. For more information, give them a call at 294-0416. Okay, Girl Scouts. Not only are they selling Girl Scout cookies, but it's for one of the good reasons, Girl Scout Camp. And they want you to know that Girl Scouts of Western New York summer camp registration is now open for all girls grades K through 12. Summer camp is a great way for girls to explore leadership, build skills, and develop a deep appreciation for nature. Whether for a day, a week, or longer, Girl Scout Camp gives girls an opportunity to grow, explore, and have fun in an all-girl environment under the guidance of caring, trained adults. For busy parents, before and after care is an option and transportation is available for day camp. I didn't know that. The Girl Scouts also offers financial opportunities, if need be, for assistance. More information, you can go to the Girl Scout Summer Camp website at gswny.org. So that would be GS for Girl Scout, WNY, WesternNewYork.org. Okay? So that's coming up. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Skip that one. We'll talk about that another time. Oh, here's a good one. Shamrock Rock and Roll Celebration. Okay, the Chautauqua Children's Safety Education Village is gearing up to celebrate St. Patty's Day on Saturday, March 16th with a community-wide St. Patrick's Day party at the Chautauqua Suites, located at 215 West Lake Road, just down the road from here. The Shamrock and Roll, why didn't I think of that title? That's really cool. Celebration will feature the classic rock band Reset to Vinyl. There'll be dinner, dancing, basket raffle, drink specials, and a whole lot more. Tickets are $50. And it includes an entry into 3 big cash jackpots of $1,000, $500, and $250, and $50 for every 50th ticket drawn. Sounds like a lot of fun. We'll talk more about this as we get closer, but mark your calendar, March 16th. Shamrock and Roll. Okay, next slide. Chautauqua Lake Child Care Center Scholarship Fund. All right, they're having an event. Let's see here. Join them for an evening of fun. Tickets are $20. There's going to be the music provided by the band For the People, formerly TPT. Food, there's going to be some snacks. They're having wine tastings, an evening of entertainment and prizes. Tickets will also include a chance for a door prize. The event will benefit the scholarship program at the Chautauqua Lake Chautauqua Lake Child Care Center, a nonprofit organization providing care and education for young children, and this is going to be held at 21 Bricks on March 16th. A lot going on St. Patrick's Day weekend, huh? And I got a lot more to share with you as we get closer. Okay, so that's a good cause. Let's see, Chautauqua Chamber Singers. This is a new one. Lakeshore Center for the Arts, Chautauqua Chamber Singers, Centuries of Love Songs. Director Rebecca Ryan. Accompanist, that's hard to say, Charles Johnson, Sue Tilliston, and the Bonnie Lock Fiddlers. This is all going to take place, guess when? March 16th, but at 4 p.m. at the First Presbyterian Church in Westfield. And then the next day, March 17th, 4 p.m., so there's going to be 2 showings. Excuse me. 16th is in Westfield. The 17th is at the Presbyterian Church in Jamestown. There's no admission at all. It's free. And that's going to be sponsored by the Lakeshore Center for the Arts right down in Westfield. But 2 showings, Jamestown on the 17th and Westfield on the 16th. Okay, here's another one. Humor, laughter, and well-being. Okay, let's see. This is going to be a program presented by Jane Fisher. It takes place on March 19th from 9 a.m. to noon at the Salvation Army, Main Street in Jamestown. $55 registration. The session is designed for helping professionals to promote self-care and resilience. And this is sponsored by CASIC. Humor, laughter, and well-being. Okay, and I think I got one more here. We got a slide for this one. The Flapjack Fundraiser. All right. Applebee's and Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation have teamed up, and they are presenting short stacks for a tall cause. Okay, it's going to be a Flapjack Fundraiser and basket raffle. Proceeds benefit the local schools through this Service Learning Mini Grant Program. This is going to be held on March 23rd from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at Applebee's on Vineyard Drive in Dunkirk. Tickets are only $6. You got basket raffles where you spend $10 and give you 25 tickets, so you got a really good chance to win. For information on this, give them a call at Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation at 366-4892. All right, so you got lots of things happening for St. Patrick's Day. We got pancake breakfasts, we got entertainment, we got ice festivals. A lot going on in Chautauqua County. I'm done. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
And welcome back. Today I have a good friend of mine who's returned to join me for the show. I've known Mike Ferguson for a long time. I don't even know how long we go back. 25, 30 years?
It's got to be 30 years.
It's got a long time ago. I mean, I'm sitting here trying to pretend I'm you being on the radio and be flawless. I'm not very good at it. They throw all these long terms, lymphedema, at me in the morning. So, Mike, welcome back.
Thank you.
It's always good to see you, and you and I always have a good time chatting about all kinds of things. But you are associated with Fredonia Place, and you're community outreach. I think that's your title, or what, you're vice president. What are you, Lord of the Manor? Every time I see you, you have a new title. So what are you?
It's sales, marketing, and cultural development. So.
What? That's a whole new one. That's a new one. You didn't use that one before.
Well, you know,
say that again. Sales,
and marketing, cultural development.
Cultural.
There you go.
We're going to delve into that one a little bit. Okay. So obviously you're out there letting people know about what you do there.
Right.
What's cultural development?
In the healthcare industry, when you're talking about nurses and aides and folks, everybody gets the same kind of training. The difference in a company is its culture, its belief system.
Oh, okay. Now I got you.
Its mission statement, its vision, its values. While I was in baseball, I was fortunate enough to be able to take a Disney management course. And during that time, you learned about hospitality. And in senior care, particularly any kind of health care, we've got some wonderful people in the community, without a doubt. But it's showing the value of those folks. You know, a lot of people, especially in this day and age, take seniors for granted. Well, they're older people. You know, we all have
older
our
adults.
iPhones. We all have our iPhones.
The Office for the Aging Gentleman, we're supposed to refer to us as older adults.
There you go. There you go. And in reality, you know, they have a life full of experiences and adventures that they love to share.
Like a suitcase full of good stuff, right?
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They've been there, they have done that. And so we value that. We value that relationship. We value that opportunity. As you know, as many people know, some may have family that is down the street. Some may have family that come every day. and some have family that either are no longer around or are too far away to be there on a daily basis. So it's that commitment to the culture that really creates a superior service. And we do that for our residents, and we do that for ourselves as a team. There's no one person in our company that is any higher ranked or any better. Obviously, we have administrators, we have those types of folks. But it's really flattening the organization so that we value everybody.
Everybody's important,
and it's an important thing. So that's what we try to do.
Well, you know, I'm just going to speak from personal experience. I've had the opportunity to play for your folks at Fredonia Place over the years, and you get that feeling. There's no question about it. The folks that live there are always happy to when we get there. Talking with the staff, everybody's a team. I mean, it's just a great location, and I want to at least take this moment to thank you guys from Fredonia Place. You've been one of my underwriters from day one. I've only had 2 to start out with, and you guys are still with me. You're one of 2, and I believe that Fredonia Place was an underwriter with Reed Powers for a while as well. So we really do appreciate it, and in turn, I try to always make sure we have programming here that talk about older adult situations and concerns. So you keep me on my toes to remember not to forget that segment of our population. It's about a third of Chautauqua County.
The show's a valuable asset to the community, without a doubt, and the information that you share. And you know, even when we were here with our political hats on, you know, that's important information to get out to the community at all times. So we thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you. And you know, you were talking about hospitality. I thought, did you notice when you came in here, my concierge took good care of you?
He did.
But you know, he went through the program at the Hughes Center with culinary arts and hospitality. So
excellent.
We live it here. We try to make everybody comfortable, and it's the same ideas. We get guests in here quite often that are a little nervous, or they've never been on TV before, and we have them come in a little bit earlier, and Justin takes good care of them. Jeff gets their name and information. We joke with them. Emerald comes by and talks with them, and so everybody it's the same idea, isn't it?
It is.
Make you feel comfortable.
Treat people the way you want to be treated.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get right to it. There's a great story that you want to announce. It was in the paper the other day, but I don't know if everybody heard that. So Fredonia Place is in Fredonia on Howard Street, right?
Right.
All right, but there's something else going on. So why don't you just break it out right now?
There's something else going on.
You heard it second. You heard it second here.
We are actually adding, for the first time in 15 years, a second location. We were very fortunate. Some people in Buffalo and Western New York, Williamsville area may know it as St. Mary's. It's the St. Francis of Newman Retirement Center for the sisters. And we have just had that rezoned, and we're in the process of signing the documents this month to take that over.
Wow.
The sisters will remain in place. They'll be very much an active part of our community, but it'll be open to the general public, same services that we offer in Fredonia.
Okay, you lost me on the sisters are going to stay in place.
The sisters, well, there's about 40 some odd sisters that still are there.
As a retirees?
Facility, yes.
Oh, they live there?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if they were working or okay.
Yeah, there's about 148 sisters left in the order worldwide.
Okay.
They own 5 facilities. One of them in Hawaii, which I question why we didn't buy that.
I think we should do a remote.
There you go.
I would be happy to do
but,
a show there.
We're only buying the one.
Anybody else? Anybody else want to go?
We'll go.
All the camera guys?
I got my Tommy Bahama shirts. But we will have 99 rooms total when it's all said and done. So there'll be some interior conversion. You know, that was part of the entire thing is the neighbors were a little up in arms thinking we were building a hotel or going 3 stories up. So the rezoning is virtually the footprint of the building will never change.
Right.
It's a matter of interior making
now,
rooms.
how many rooms do you have in Fredonia Place?
74. Right?
So this is a little bit bigger.
A little bit bigger. We'll have both memory care and assisted living there as well, the same services we offer here. We just thought it was time for expansion, and from a geographic standpoint, we get a lot of folks who say, well, I've got sons and daughters who live in Western New York, but my in-laws live here in Fredonia, or vice versa. So now we can cover a much more area and provide that service to everyone.
Yeah, and I don't think people often realize that the lakeshore is very fluid. I mean, I'm from Buffalo originally. You're
Same
from Buffalo
here.
originally,
Yep.
right? And we traverse the lakeshore constantly with our families and relatives. So saying to go to Williamsville is not like going to another world or a country.
No.
It's just part of what we are. It's just a fluid situation.
There'll be a management team that will be going back and forth to both locations.
So what's your role?
Same thing.
Oh, you're going to work
Sales
both?
manager and culture development for the company. So we'll be doing a little bit of traveling until we get someone in place up there. Actually, we probably won't be taking residents. It'll probably be anywhere from eight months to a year because of the construction.
Right.
But obviously, we'll start talking to folks as soon as possible. So if you've got somebody up that way and you want to talk, you can give us a call.
You know, Mike, you got a great story. I think it's a great story. Tell us again how you got into this business.
I know, it's funny. You know, for those of you that know me, my business has basically been sports and entertainment and that type of thing. My mother, my mom, after my dad passed away in Buffalo, she was there by herself. We moved her down to Fredonia, and again living by herself. And after a few years, we decided it was time to take a look at some places. When you're living on your own, one day just rolls into the next. 4 o'clock in the morning in the winter looks like 4 o'clock in the evening. So there's she always had great friends to sit outside with during the summer, but it's those 6 months during the winter that can be pretty brutal. We looked at every facility in Chautauqua County. She came down to a couple of them that she wanted, but she kept going back to, I really like Fredonia Place, I really like Fredonia Place. She really didn't know anybody to here. You know, it's not like many of our residents went to school with people or worked with people. So after a lot of stubborn talk and Irish guilt, we got her into Fredonia Place. And a good friend of mine, Doug Fenton, who I knew from the newspaper and other, was actually doing this before me. And Doug had moved up to North Tonawanda. And I called to wish him well, and I had just left the arena, and I said, if you ever need any help, I live right up the street, and I absolutely love the way they take care of my mom. And sooner than later, I was sitting in front of the Tetso company and Jeremy DeMaro, who's the administrator, and was there part-time for about 6 months, and I've been there full-time now for almost 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and it's because it's fulfilling. You know, you always want things in your career that you can affect change, that you can affect growth, and that you can close your eyes at the end of the night and feel that you've done a good job. And that's what Fredonia Place
I met your mom whenever I would be there, and she always was smiling, constantly smiling. And I don't know if I ever told you this, but she looked remarkably similar to one of my aunts. And I always, whenever I see her, I think of my aunt. It's like I have this connection with her, so it's really... Yeah,
and she's actually transitioned from assisted living, where she was for about a little over 5 years. And she's been about the last 6 months or so in the memory care unit. And that's one of the advantages of being in that building. You can transfer one to the other. She still has all her friends from both sides of the building that she interacts with. And there's a ton of activities. We've got a brand new activities director. Nicole Guerrera, who just came on board.
She replaced Shannon?
Well, Shannon is going to be doing a lot of work in Williamsville. She'll be probably the only one that really is in Williamsville more than the rest of us. But Nicole's been fantastic. We just had a big Valentine. I wish I should have sent you those pictures. Valentine's dinner, which was fantastic, photo booth. So they get pictures.
I think I saw them on Facebook.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and she has been a tremendous asset to our company. So we're very happy to have her there.
Let's drill down in this thing called memory care. For whatever reason, I seem to have this desire to keep talking about this topic, because I've been finding, for those around me, within family members, neighbors, whatever, this is a growing concern with Alzheimer's and dementia and so forth. So let's talk about what is memory care, what do you do for them, and what are the facilities like?
It's mostly keeping people safe. And what I mean by that is, Alzheimer's and dementia has quickly jumped into one of the top 3 diseases, for lack of another term, in America. And that's right up there with heart disease and cancer. I've gotten phone calls concerning 26-year-old males, and you know, we have some residents that are in their late 50s. Now, obviously, a 26-year-old male, probably our average age at Fredonia Place is in the, I think, 82 or 83. Probably wouldn't progress very well in that age group, but the 50-somethings do very, very well. The facility, you know, people take a look and they listen and they say, well, memory care units are lockdown units. That's a misconception. Okay. The lockdown of a memory care facility is the perimeter doors, so which are alarmed. Jeremy Diamaro, who's our administrator, has done a fantastic job of actually hooking those alarms up to our phones, our iPads, computers, those types of things, so that if a resident does decide, gee, I'd like to see what's outside, it's called an egress door. By New York state law, it has to open after 30 seconds after you're pushing it. But our community is only a 26-bed community, so it's easy to get around that building. And it's very difficult, as soon as we hear that alarm, somebody's reacting almost immediately. It rarely happens, but it's a safety issue. That's why my mom made the transition. There are folks that live in our assisted living area that have the beginning stages of maybe dementia or Alzheimer's, very beginning stages. And that's something that's difficult for any person to identify. It may be, gee, I'm not quite sure what day it is. I'm not, you know, you lose your keys. Well, we all do that. Doesn't necessarily mean that you
don't
have
go any
dementia or
further,
Alzheimer's.
please. You're making me nervous here.
Yeah, I find I've been forgetting a lot of names lately, which is really
don't you hate that?
really bad.
You're standing there and you're looking in the air. Where is that word? Or what is that name?
Exactly.
Like, oh my God.
And you know, that doesn't necessarily mean
Thank you.
that you
I feel
have
better.
A lot of it can be stress related. I mean, when my mom was living on her own, one of the bells that went off was she had one incident where she hallucinated, and she thought that the poor college girl who lived upstairs was in her apartment during the night. And it was stress. It was this stress of living on your own, the fear of living on your own. You know, you no longer have your husband with you. It's dark. It's late night. The second we got her into Fredonia Place, it never happened again. Right. Why she transitioned was a couple of the staff members would come down to me and say, Mike, your mom's kind of packing boxes. Something's going on. And she was just kind of restless. And she said, I'd go up and I'd say, Mom, why are you packing your boxes? I don't know. I'm thinking about possibly, you know, looking at some other places. And I said, well, where are you going? Well, I don't have to tell you. Yeah, you sort of do.
I'm your mother.
yeah, it would be a big help if you would. You know, and so that was a sign that there's a possibility. You know, on assisted living, you can come and go as you please. Right. We have some folks that go out for the day. We've got a couple gentlemen who work still. Yep. We have people that play golf. So you have the ability to come and go as you please. So the fear was that there was maybe she would go out, get her hair done, and forget where she was going. That was a key signal, and I'll be honest with you, when we talked to the staff, I was like, oh, I don't think she's ready for that. Well, she very much was ready for that, and I'm thankful that they made that decision. So they have activities on that side of the building. They have co-activities, just like the Thanksgiving or the Valentine's dinner. When you come and play music and other folks come and play music, memory care folks come over and they see old friends and everything else, and it's great. But I can rest assured to know that not only is she being taken care of the same way she was on assisted living, but that she's safe at night. She's not going to want it.
And let's be honest here, is that we often see these adult Amber Alerts that pop up where, like you say, if they're not safe and you don't have these built-in secure systems, they can wander very easily, and in inclement weather they can get really sick or lost or whatever, and you know, sometimes there's not good endings to these stories. So it's
well, obviously we're never going to talk names or situations, but we've had that happen, and I can assure you that if you are thinking about whether it's time for your mom or dad, and you're even thinking about it, it's time. You know, our good friend Greg Krause, who was with us for a number of years, used to say, it's never too early, but it can be too late. We've had people that tour, they're worried about mom and dad, but they're worried about their feelings. I don't want them to give up their independence. They're not ready to move.
Yeah.
And sure enough, a couple of weeks after a visit, they didn't move in. We're reading in the paper, thankfully everybody's safe. Yeah. But mom and dad had kind of wandered off, or dad had wandered off. And it's a situation that is even more nerve-wracking. Okay. So if you even think that it's a good time to sit down and talk.
Okay, a question just came through my earpiece is, are there outdoor activities for the folks in the memory garden?
Yes.
Okay, like
we have a courtyard that during summer is, as long as it's not lightning out or anything like that.
Please.
It's open. They're able to go outside. There's a covered patio out there as well. We do plenty of those. We also have a huge patio on the assisted living side, and again, a lot of the memory care folks will have events there and that type of thing. We do a couple of community events a year with food trucks and live music and vendors and karate demonstrations and wine tasting.
Tai Chi,
and all
I
kinds of
suspect.
things. There you go.
Yeah.
So a lot of things going on that's open to the public, and it's a great way for people to bring their grandkids to visit, and it's a really fun day.
You know, I want to come back to this topic you and I have talked before, and I'm going to broach it with a little story, and then we'll get to it. As you know, my dad passed away about 1.5 years ago at 94, and he and I would have the talk every six months. The talk, I used to call it, and it was basically, Dad, I love you. What do you need? And he lived in a 3-story house, did his own laundry, did his own cooking, did his own shopping, still was driving at 93 and a half or right to the end there. And I said, if you feel that you want to move on to another facility, not the house, you let me know. And he just looked at me, smiled, and I said, okay, I'll talk to you in another 6 months. And he says, I'm fine. Well, then, because of his medical condition that was slowly taking the best of him, I finally said, Dad, you just can't keep doing this. I mean, walking up and down these stairs, I mean, for you and I would take like 10 seconds. It was like 5 minutes. And, you know, starting to look at putting in a stair lift and, you know, surrounding him with technology, which he was fine with. He really enjoyed that whole thing. But then his health got bad and he had to be hospitalized. And I said, you know, I think you might need to go to rehab. Well, he never left the hospital because of his organ failure and so forth. But the point was I, for a long time, felt really, I don't know if guilt was the word, but it was probably close to it, of should I have pushed him harder or not, or should we have done something? But you know what? He loved his house. He was still functioning. His mind was just as clear as mine most of the time.
Sure.
And so how do you make that decision? I mean, you talked a little bit about your mom.
It's tough.
This is hard.
Yeah, it is tough, and it's a situation where we are their children, and
and they remind you of that on a regular basis.
You know, and it's but. And I'm not saying this, you know, when my title is sales, I don't get commission. I get paid. That's it. Yeah. And I get paid whether we're full or whether and we've been blessed to be full quite a bit. Truly, from experience, 9 out of 10 times we will have people that say, this has been life-changing for mom and dad. And I'm sure it's not just at our facility. They're happy, they're engaging. I saw mom down at bingo, I saw dad doing this, and they haven't done that in years.
Yeah.
Many times they don't know what they're missing. And they feel that this is the deck that, you know, this is the hand I've been dealt. And I'm okay with that, and I've got my routines. And you think that they're happy, and in many cases they may be. But in others, when all of a sudden that social aspect comes in, when that one-on-one, that human contact comes in, it can be absolutely life-changing. And that's one thing you have to, we've always talked about the fact that I'll ask Mom, what'd you have for breakfast? Oh, I had breakfast. Well, what'd you have? I had breakfast.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and you look in the sink and you know there's no dishes, and you know the same dishes were in the dishwasher for a week.
The medication, we forget.
You know, well, I took it. Okay, well, today's still in there, you know. All those things have an effect. Yeah. And when you start to see those, it's a very difficult, that's probably one of the top 2 or 3 questions I get all the time. How do you start the conversation? How do you get this going? I say you have to be incredibly honest. I think the last straw for my mom was the pressure that was being put on our family. And what I mean by that is you would call, and my mom's not a big phone conversation person. The phone would be ringing and ringing. I'd
your heart's
work,
racing.
I'd
Ding,
go
ding, ding,
outside,
ding,
and
ding, ding.
she's sitting outside having a glass of wine with her friends. You know, no sunscreen. You know, and then the next time you would call, and the phone would be busy, 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 busy. Well, she accidentally knocked it off, but it was middle of the night. It was during work hours. It was my wife leaving work because I might have been out of town, and it was very stressful. You worry about mom or dad. What's happening at 2 o'clock in the morning. And then again, finally I got the call from a neighbor saying, there's an incident here, mom needs you to come over right away. And that's the day she was hallucinating about this poor college girl upstairs. And that was really the trigger. That was really when I had to say, it's not just about you, this is what's happening to our family as a whole. And a little bit of the old Irish Catholic guilt, I think.
Absolutely.
Put that on there.
Well, you know, I found with my dad, he loved being home, he loved his house, but the social aspect he really lost. He didn't. He told me all his friends were dead. You know, he was like the last man standing type thing. Yeah. And but there was also the part where I felt, and a lot of my listeners and viewers might understand what I'm saying, and I suspect you'll agree with me in a second. They're still keeping the torch for their spouse that's passed on. They got to keep the house, they got to keep the garden, they got to keep the traditions going, but yet their health is starting to fail, and it's hard for them to let go of the house and all the possessions. And I actually wrote an article about having to deal with my parents' stuff, and how do you take somebody from day one that says, I think we need something different for our parent, to the point where you sold a house and got rid of, I mean, do you help them with all that? I mean, how does that all work? Gosh.
We have the third Thursday of every month. I believe it's 4:30. It is absolutely free. It's part of Western New York Alzheimer's Association. It is free to the public, and it's a support group. And the support group, you're hearing from people who've gone through it. And it's confidential, and it's closed door. It's in our theater. Very small group, about 10 to 12 people. Anybody's welcome. And they help you answer those questions. People have dealt with it. One thing that you'll find with dementia and Alzheimer's, as much as they want to fight to hold on to everything, and that was part of my fight. My mom was in a full apartment at Fredonia Place, and you're going to a suite. I said, this isn't going to happen. This isn't going to work. She has gone from a 3-story house to a smaller house, to an apartment, to now this apartment, and now a suite. Trust us. And I said, okay. Within 24 hours. And when I take a tour, and I've got a tour later this morning, when I take people on a tour, we stop by my mom's
Check it,
suite,
hey, Mom, how's it going?
because she'll always go, come on in, take a look, this is where I live.
Yeah.
You know, things, possessions, places become less important. What becomes important is, where do I go next? What do I do?
My schedule, my relationships.
And, oh, it's almost lunchtime.
Yeah.
Oh, it's almost time for this. My exercise class is in a little while.
Yeah.
Those are the things that become important. And you and I and most children won't believe that until you've experienced it. But it's very, very true.
I saw that with my dad. He had a regimen that he followed. It keeps him sane, I guess. You know, it gives him order.
Yeah, and like you said, when a loved one is gone, those are the things that they think about. Yeah. I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this.
Because that's how we always done it.
I was surprised when I sat back and said, to have the bed and a recliner and everything in one area, I don't think she's going to be ready for that. And the staff said, it will be fine. And I thought, boy, we're going to be in for a rough one. And it was fine. And it came to, and it's the same thing with every person in the memory unit, memory campus, I call it, is they're happy folks for the most part.
Mike, I want to touch on something that, and this might be a tough one for you to answer, because it's planning for the future. You hear these things where you should be buying insurance now for when you need it later. And I mean, do people actually buy this stuff, and are they using it?
Yes, you know, and I was in a big one for that. Long-term health care insurance. If you're in your 50s, if you're in your early 60s, get it, because you read the news, you watch the news. People aren't able to save like they did in our parents' day. God bless the folks that are able to do that and that have a pretty good stash of money or investments. The healthcare industry as a whole is, you know, a trip to the hospital, you know, major surgeries. With long-term healthcare insurance, it covers much of that, besides your healthcare insurance, unfortunately. I don't see the cost going down anytime soon on moving into facilities. You know, we're fortunate that we're in the lower third of costs. So, plus with veterans VA benefits, that type of thing. So yes, it's not a sales pitch by any means when you see it on TV. Long-term care insurance, and make sure it's the type of insurance that can cover you both for hospital stays and for stays in whether it's a nursing home. And there's a difference. You know, that's part of the problem when you're trying to convince people to move to an assisted living facility, is that the older generation thinks it's a nursing home. There's a vast difference between a nursing home, assisted living, and memory care. Most of your nursing home is long-term care. New York State regulates the differences between those, so it's always good. And I cannot emphasize enough to sit down with your mom and dad or yourself now and get things like paperwork in one place.
Okay, let's take a breather. You're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. My guest today is Mike Ferguson from Fredonia Place, and we have a caller.
Well,
Excellent.
Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Doc. This is Linda Spalding.
Good morning, Linda.
And it's
Good
so
morning.
great. I just love Fredonia Place.
Thank you.
It really is such a luxurious facility. It's like going on a vacation.
So I said I've been there. It's really nice.
Yes, it is. It is really amazing.
As long as they don't call me Captain Stubing or anything like that, I'm good with
I
that.
think somebody on your show, I don't know who said it. It's like a ship, a cruise ship that doesn't leave.
Oh, yes, I've heard that. Yeah.
and it really is a delightful facility.
So-
really beautiful.
So how's Linda today?
I'm just great, and I'm looking forward to going up to see the ice castle and the different activities.
Yeah, it's gonna be busy there.
Yeah, and they are to be commended for getting that up with the fluctuating weather conditions we experience.
Up and down, up and down.
Yeah,
sure.
it's beautiful. I saw it. Well, I saw them putting it up, and I saw it last night. It really is beautiful.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So what's going on in your office these days?
Well, we're still looking for people always for our program, and this is a good time to be looking for a job. We've got our computer training at Patterson Library. Also, I think this is Dementia Awareness Month, isn't it? You were
Yes, it is.
discussing that, and you can become a dementia friend by going through a training online.
Okay.
And it's very informative. I encourage everybody to get online and take it. So, and it's great to see you on the show, Mike, and tell us all the different things
Thank
that we have to offer.
Very much so. I mean, the Office of the Aging is a tremendous resource.
Absolutely.
And we have resources, and again, many times it's a sense of pride. Well, I don't want to be embarrassed by going and asking questions and getting information. You know, even things like Meals on Wheels. You know, they're there for a purpose, and they're there to be helpful, and they can answer an awful lot of questions. And Linda and her crew have a lot of resources that you can take advantage of, and they'll introduce you to the people that you need to be introduced to.
Right.
So I highly recommend that you give them a call.
Linda, do you place people for work in any of the assisted living centers or nursing homes?
We do if people are interested in the home care, and that kind of, and, you know, there's different levels of home care. We do that. We refer people always, and of course, working in that field, anything in the healthcare field, is considered what we call a demand occupation. There's a lot of jobs needed.
Linda, last week you were looking for nutrition aid and clerical support. Are you still looking for those positions?
Yes. Well, we still need the clerical support, especially in the Dunkirk office. I'm recruiting. I have some applicants for the nutrition aid or somebody to assist with the food service that we have at Meals on Wheels, which is through WCA Hospital at Jones Hill.
Super. All right, and if they want to get a hold of you, let's put that banner up one more time. And Linda, you go ahead and say it for our radio friends.
The number at the Chautauqua County Office for the Aging in Mayville is 753-4471.
All right, super duper.
Excellent.
All right, well, thanks for calling in as always, and enjoy the Ice Fest day.
Yes, and happy President's Day.
And same to you.
Linda.
All right, take care now.
You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. Mike, you mentioned veterans, and I have a special spot in my heart. So does Kathy Young. I know she says the same thing. But for veterans, I know it's going to be hard to believe, and I haven't said much about this, but my oldest son retired after 25 years of service. Thursday, he got his official papers that he is no longer in the Army.
Okay.
And it seems hard to believe I could have a kid that old that's retired.
I think when we met, he was in high school.
Yeah, absolutely. But Scott William Hamels, Chief Warrant Officer 4. So
awesome.
Good on him. But as I watch him transitioning to his next career, I realize there's veteran services, and we've had Greg Carlson on here and various folks from Blue Star Mothers, and we're going to have other people in the future. But I get calls and notes from time to time from viewers and listeners about veteran services, about assisted living and that sort of thing. So can you put together that piece for me?
Sure. The VA has just revised their qualifications for VA assistance.
Okay.
So if you have served 2 years or more during active wartime, doesn't mean you had to have seen combat. It can be overseas,
just during that,
it can be stateside.
During that time period.
Yes. And there's multiple wars, unfortunately, where those qualify. They have just raised, it used to be you needed to have $80,000 or less, not including house and car.
Okay.
They've just raised that, I believe, to $120,000,
right.
100 some 20. Again, without house and car. You can call your VA, go to your VA. You really can't apply until you've decided where you're going. Once you've committed to a facility, then you can apply. I will tell you that, like all things governmental, it can take some time at times, sometimes 3 months to 4 months, but they pay you retroactively from the day you move in.
Okay.
And some facilities will discount that until you get your lump sum. Sometimes you just you get reimbursed yourself. It goes right to your checking account, which is great. So it's not anything where it goes to the facility or anything like that, but is to be specifically used for your care.
Right.
Now it is available if you have home care as well. But those are things that all I can recommend is to get a hold of your VA office. If you don't have your papers, your discharge papers, they can help you find it.
Right.
And ask questions. But
and the Veteran Services of Chautauqua County through Chautauqua Government, Greg Carlson and company, they're great advocates.
Fantastic people.
Great people. Mike, we're down to like last 30 seconds. And anything you want to share?
I want to thank you for your time, and I welcome folks if you have any questions, if you'd like a tour, if you'd like to ask me about the new Fredonia place of Williamsville, you can do so. Just give me a call at 672-0007 or just mferguson@fredoniaplace.com.
All right. Well, Mike, thanks for coming by as always, and we do enjoy listening what's going on in this specific field of interest. And we wish you good luck with your Williamsville project, and you have to come back next year maybe and tell us all about what happened.
There you go. We got to get you out on the pickleball court sometime too.
Oh yeah, I got to do that sometime. All right, folks. Well, I think we're out of time. There's the music, just like on the Grammys. Okay, so I'm Doc Hamels. My guest has been Mike Ferguson. Thanks, Mike, for joining us. We're going to do this all again next Saturday morning right here at 9 a.m. on Access Chautauqua, and get out there, enjoy all the festivals, check out all the music venues, all the good stuff here in Chautauqua County. We'll see you next time. Take care and stay warm. Bye now.